Hello and welcome to this new edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. Discovery of lithium resources in Mandya and Yadgiri districts of Karnataka has been made. Union Budget 2024-25 proposes to set up Rs 1,000 crore venture capital fund for space economy, fivefold in next decade. Supreme Court's Constitution bench says states have power to levy tax on mineral rights. Economic case for investment in the well-being of adolescents in India report released. Experts call for recognition of aquatic deoxygenation as a new planetary boundary. UNESCO released Sport and Gender Equality Game Plan. Let us begin with the first news and discuss about a recent discovery of lithium resources in Mandya and Yadgiri districts of Karnataka. The Atomic Minerals Directorate for Exploration and Research has established 1,600 tons of lithium resources in Mandya district. The discovery of these lithium reserves is expected to lead to a reduction in import dependence, especially since India currently relies heavily on China and Hong Kong for lithium. This finding will not only foster self-sufficiency in meeting energy storage needs, but will also significantly contribute to India's green transition. Moreover, it is anticipated to spur industrial development, particularly in the vehicle and automobile sectors. Lithium, often referred to as white gold, is a soft, silvery white alkali metal known for its toxicity and the distinction of having the lowest density of all metals. It has been identified as a critical and strategic mineral under the Mines and Mineral Development and Regulation Amendment Act 2023. The applications of lithium are extensive. It is widely used in rechargeable lithium-ion batteries for mobile phones, electric vehicles, as well as in non-rechargeable batteries for devices like heart pacemakers and clocks. Lithium is also alloyed with aluminium and magnesium to improve strength and reduce weight, finding use in armor plating, aircraft, bicycle frames, and high-speed trains. Additionally, it is used in air conditioning, industrial drying systems, and glass ceramics. To further enhance the exploration and utilization of lithium, several steps have been taken. The Khanij Bidesh India Limited explores strategic minerals in overseas territories. The Australia-India Critical Minerals Investment Partnership is another initiative. The Geological Survey of India is actively exploring lithium reserves within the country, and the Ministry of Mines has joined the Mineral Security Partnership led by the USA. Wrapping up, let us also take a look at some of the major countries in terms of lithium reserves. They are Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, Australia, and China. In conclusion, the discovery of lithium resources in Karnataka marks a pivotal moment for India's industrial and energy sectors.
In the Union Budget 2024-25, a bold new proposal has been unveiled, a 1,000 crore venture capital fund dedicated to propelling India's space economy to new heights. This ambitious fund aims to expand the space economy fivefold over the next decade. But what exactly is a venture capital fund? It's an investment pool that targets early-stage startups with significant long-term growth potential. Let's delve into the current state of the Indian space economy. Presently, it is valued at around 6,700 crore rupees, with India holding a modest 2% share of the global space economy in 2021. However, projections are optimistic, with expectations for this share to rise to 8% by 2030 and further to 15% by 2047. Remarkably, the number of space startups in India has surged from just 1 in 2022 to nearly 200 in 2024, highlighting a booming sector. Investment in these startups has also seen a dramatic increase, reaching $124.7 million in 2023. The implementation of the Indian Space Policy 2023 is set to build a robust $44 billion Indian space economy. Several key initiatives are driving the growth of India's space economy. The Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Centre acts as a single-window nodal agency to promote and authorize space activities. The space sector reform of 2020 opened the sector to private participation, fostering a wave of innovation and investment. The Indian Space Policy and the allowance of 100% FDI in some subsectors of space are further catalyzing this growth. Notable startups like Skyroot Aerospace with their Vikram S and Prarambh missions and Agnikul Cosmos with the Dhanush launchpad exemplify the rising private sector participation. ISRO, NSIL, and InSpace are also transferring technology to private players, while international collaborations such as NISAR program and the Artemis Accords are broadening horizons. However, the path to a thriving space economy is not without challenges. The increase in space debris poses significant risks to space operations, necessitating advanced technological solutions to prevent collisions. Additionally, the growing militarization of space adds another layer of complexity and risk. Geopolitical tensions and concentration of resources also pose disruption risks in global technology supply chains. Furthermore, the absence of a substantial domestic investor pool interested in space ventures remains a significant hurdle. In conclusion, by nurturing early-stage startups and fostering innovation, India is poised to not only expand its share in the global space economy, but also to lead in space technology and exploration.
Moving ahead, let's dive into the recent Supreme Court ruling in which the Supreme Court's Constitution bench says states have power to levy tax on mineral rights. The Supreme Court, in an 8-1 ruling, held that power of state legislatures to tax mining lands is not limited by the Parliament's Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation or MMDRA 1957. In this, one dissenting judgment cautioned about adverse consequences of giving mineral taxation rights to states. If you look at the key observations by court, then the court highlighted that the power to tax mineral rights is clearly stated in entry 50 of list 2 of state list, which means Parliament cannot use its residual power to override this. Parliament can indeed impose limitations on states' mineral taxation through laws, but the MMDRA does not contain any specific provisions that limit this power. Additionally, Entry 54 of List 1, that is Union List, which pertains to the Union's power over minerals, is regulatory in nature and does not include taxing authority. Furthermore, the term land in Entry 49 of List 2 encompasses mineral-bearing lands, thereby granting states the competence to tax these lands. This ruling overturns a 1989 judgment asserting that royalty is not within the nature of a tax and does not fall under the MMDRA. To better understand the context, let's look at the MMDRA 1957. This act regulates the mining sector in India and provides for various types of licenses, including reconnaissance permits, prospecting licenses for exploring and providing deposits, mining leases for mineral extraction, and composite licenses that cover both exploration and extraction. In the year 2023, significant amendments were made to the MMDRA. An exploration license was introduced for deep-seated and critical minerals, allowing for both reconnaissance and prospecting operations. The amendments also empowered the central government to exclusively auction mining leases and composite licenses for certain critical minerals, although the actual granting of these leases or licenses remained with the state governments. Additionally, the amendments removed certain minerals such as lithium, beryllium, and titanium from the list of atomic minerals. In conclusion, this decision, coupled with the recent amendments to the MMDRA, is poised to reshape the regulatory and economic landscape of India's mining sector. Ahead in the news, let's dive into the significant report titled Economic Case for Investment in the Well-Being of Adolescents in India. Recently released by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, this report provides crucial insights into how targeted interventions can yield high returns by investing in the health and well-being of adolescents. If you look at the key highlights, then India proudly holds the title of having the largest adolescent population in the world, with 253 million individuals aged 10 to 19. The country has made significant strides in improving adolescent health and education. The adolescent mortality rate has decreased by more than 50%, and the adolescent fertility rate has dropped by 83% between 2000 and 2019. In education, the number of young people completing secondary school has more than doubled, rising from 22% in 2005 to over 50% in 2020. However, there are challenges as well. For instance, there has been a 22.7% rise in fatal road accidents involving adolescents under 18 between 2021 and 22. The report suggests that implementing the recommended interventions could boost the Indian economy by 10.1% of the annual GDP. Despite the progress, Indian adolescents still face significant challenges. Health issues such as unplanned pregnancies, malnutrition, and mental health disorders like depression and anxiety are prevalent. In education and employment, learning outcomes are stagnant and unemployment is a concern, especially with the advent of emerging technologies like AI. While the number of girls marrying before 18 has halved from 2006 to 2024, 1 in 3 child brides globally still live in India. Additionally, road accidents, self-harm, and suicide are significant issues affecting this age group. To address these challenges, several interventions are recommended. In education, there is a need to establish schools in underserved areas, improve teaching methods, and provide merit-based scholarships to enhance learning outcomes. For health, a focus on the prevention and treatment of common mental disorders, tackling cyberbullying, and reducing interpersonal violence can improve adolescent well-being. To curb child marriage, imparting life skills, providing financial transfer to girls, and initiating cultural and social changes are crucial. Implementing graduated licensing schemes can help reduce injuries among adolescents. India has already embarked on several initiatives to support adolescent well-being, namely the Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakram, the National Education Policy 2.0, the School Health and Wellness Program, part of the Ayushman Bharat Initiative, the Motor Vehicle Amendment Act 2019, and the National Road Safety Policy aims to enhance road safety and reduce accidents involving adolescents. In conclusion, investing in the well-being of adolescents is not just a moral imperative but also an economic strategy that can yield significant returns.
Ahead, let's dive into the pressing issue of aquatic deoxygenation and why experts are calling for its recognition as a new planetary boundary. Aquatic deoxygenation refers to the overall decline in the oxygen content of oceanic and coastal waters, occurring when oxygen consumption outpaces its replenishment. This critical problem is gaining attention due to its profound impact on our planet's health. First, let's examine the status of aquatic deoxygenation. In our oceans, about 2% of the oxygen content has been lost since the 1960s. More than 500 low oxygen sites have been identified in coastal waters. Lakes and reservoirs have also been affected, with oxygen losses of 5.5% and 18.6% respectively since 1980. Now let's understand why this is happening. One major reason is global warming caused by greenhouse gases. Rising temperatures decrease the solubility of oxygen in water, and warm surface layers in the ocean prevent oxygen from mixing into deeper waters, leading to low oxygen levels in the deep sea. Another culprit is eutrophication, which results from nutrient over-enrichment due to human activities like agriculture. This causes algal blooms that consume large amounts of oxygen. The impacts on ecosystems are severe. We see the occurrence of dead zones and ocean hypoxia, which compress habitats and reduce the quality and quantity of sustainable environments for fisheries, leading to reduced biomass and species loss. This also affects the regulation and modulation of Earth's climate, as these regions produce greenhouse gases through microbiotic processes. Additionally, changes in the marine food web increase the risk of predation and other factors like ocean acidification. Understanding planetary boundaries is crucial in this context. Planetary boundaries are a framework that describes the limits to the impacts of human activities on the Earth system. Beyond these limits, the environment may not be able to self-regulate anymore. Currently, there are 9 recognized planetary boundaries, including climate change, ocean acidification, land use change, and biodiversity loss. Recognizing aquatic deoxygenation as a new planetary boundary would highlight its significance and encourage more focused efforts to address it. In conclusion, aquatic deoxygenation is a silent yet severe issue affecting our planet's health. By acknowledging it as a new planetary boundary, we can better understand its impacts and work towards sustainable solutions. In our next news, let's dive into the world of sports and gender equality as we explore UNESCO's newly released Sport and Gender Equality Game Plan. Released just before the Olympic Games, this insightful report shines a spotlight on the persistent gender gap in sports and offers valuable guidance for gender transformative sport policies and programs. First, let's look at some key observations from the report. A staggering 21% of women athletes and 11% of men reported experiencing at least one form of sexual abuse as a child in sports. This highlights a significant issue that needs urgent attention. Another concerning statistic is the high dropout rate in sports, with 49% of girls leaving sports during adolescence, which is 6 times higher than boys. Factors contributing to this high attrition rate include a lack of women role models, safety concerns, lack of confidence, and negative body image. Moving on, we see clear evidence of inequality in professional sports. The pay gap is glaring, with women conspicuously absent from the list of 50 highest paid athletes in the world. Additionally, there's a lack of women in leadership positions, with only 30% of world's largest sports federations chaired by women in 2023. So what actions does the game plan suggest to tackle these issues? First, it recommends harnessing the power of sports to change attitudes through media coverage and addressing the root causes of gender inequalities. Next, it emphasizes championing gender equality in sport leadership, governance, and decision-making. Developing capacity and both soft and hard infrastructure through gender-responsive budgeting and closing funding gaps is another crucial action. Lastly, there's a strong commitment to ending all forms of gender-based violence in sport. Now let's shift our focus to India's initiatives to promote women in sports. The Khelo India scheme's Sports for Women component is specifically dedicated to promoting sports among women. Additionally, the Asmita, or Achieving Sports Milestone by Inspiring Women Through Action, portal aims to give identity to women athletes. Another noteworthy initiative is the Khelo India Das Kadam, a sports competition conducted on International Women's Day 2023. In conclusion, UNESCO's Sport and Gender Equality Game Plan provides a comprehensive roadmap for addressing gender disparities in sports. Today's personality in the news is Chandrashekhar Azad, a renowned freedom fighter remembered on his birth anniversary. He was born in the princely state of Alirajpur. Exploring his key contributions, he participated in the non-cooperation movement at the age of 15. He declared his title as Azad, his father's names as Swatantrata, and his abode as jail when arrested. He joined Hindustan Republican Association or HRA. To take revenge for Lala Lajpat Rai's murder, he participated in the Kakori train robbery in 1925, shooting of John P. Saunders in Lahore in 1928, and attempted to attack on Viceroy of India's train in 1929. He also reorganized HRA into Hindustan Socialist Republican Association in 1928. Through his remarkable actions, he exemplified the values of courage, nationalism, and leadership.
As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. Recently, the Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center has been converted into an attached office of the Ministry of Home Affairs. Earlier, I4C was established as a scheme under MHA's Cyber and Information Security Division in 2018. I4C's main objective is to act as a nodal point to curb cybercrime. Azerbaijan launches Climate Finance Action Fund in package of initiatives for UN Climate Change Conference COP29. Climate Finance Action Fund is headquartered in Baku, Azerbaijan. The fund will support climate projects in developing countries. Ministry of Law and Justice shared data on pending government litigation as per Legal Information and Management Briefing System. It is an initiative of Ministry of Law and Justice and monitors the entire process of litigation from the central government's perspective. White category sectors will now not require prior permission of the state pollution control boards to establish and operate under the Air Act 1981 and Water Act 1974. The permissions, officially known as consent to establish and consent to operate, are granted to regulate industries that discharge effluents or emit pollutants into the environment. Triput, the first of two advanced frigates under construction by Goa Shipyard Limited for the Indian Navy, was launched. These frigates are being constructed indigenously for the first time by an Indian shipyard. Triput-class frigates ship is designed for combat operations against enemy surface ships, submarines, and aircrafts. Steel Import Monitoring System introduced in 2019 has been revamped into SIMS 2.0 by the Ministry of Steel 2.0 portal. SIMS 2.0's objective is monitoring steel imports and promoting growth of domestic steel industry. The Indian Army will participate in the 21st edition of the multinational military exercise, which will be conducted at Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. A study has demonstrated that tree bark in forest absorbs methane. Methane is a greenhouse gas which contributes to about a third of climate warming. It is a colorless and odorless gas, easily combustible with short atmospheric lifetime compared to CO2. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Knowledge. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solution to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.